There is something about a lens that just feels like it was built to survive a war zone, and this piece of glass is exactly that. When you pick up the Fujinon XF50-140mm, you immediately notice the heft. It is not a light piece of kit, but that weight translates into a sense of confidence that you just do not get with cheaper, plastic-heavy alternatives. It is a constant aperture f2.8 zoom, which is the gold standard for a reason. Having that wide opening across the entire range means you can shoot in some pretty dim lighting without having to crank your ISO into the stratosphere. The reach is essentially a 76 to 214mm equivalent, which is that sweet spot for portraiture and sports where you want to isolate your subject from the background without being right on top of them. Now here is the thing about the internal focusing mechanism. Because the lens doesn't physically extend when you zoom or focus, it stays perfectly balanced on a gimbal or a tripod. That is a massive win for anyone doing video work. You aren't constantly rebalancing your rig every time you want to punch in for a tighter shot. The weather sealing is another big one. It is built to handle dust, moisture, and even freezing temperatures, so if you are the type of person who likes to head out when the weather turns sour, this thing is going to keep ticking. The autofocus is snappy, thanks to those linear motors, and it locks onto subjects with a quiet precision that feels almost telepathic. But let's be real for a second. It is not perfect. The minimum focus distance is about 1 meter, which means you aren't going to be doing any true macro photography with this. If you are trying to get a tight shot of a flower or a small insect, you are going to find yourself wishing you could get just a few inches closer. It is a bit of a limitation if you like that extreme close-up look. Also, because of that solid metal construction, your neck is definitely going to feel it after a long day of shooting. It is a professional tool, and it carries the weight of one. The image quality, though, is where it really earns its keep. The sharpness is consistent from corner to corner, and the way it renders out-of-focus areas is smooth and creamy, which is exactly what you want for those professional-looking portraits. It is one of those lenses that just gets out of your way and lets you focus on the composition. If you are serious about your photography and you need a telephoto zoom that won't let you down when the conditions get tough, this is pretty much the benchmark for the system. It is a serious investment, sure, but for the results it delivers, it is hard to argue with the value. It is a workhorse, plain and simple, and it is likely to stay in your bag for a very long time.
Check out the video description for updated price. And thank you for watching this video.